guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a little bit of a different video. I thought today I'd do a general get ready with me, my everyday makeup. You guys have asked for this many times, so I thought I would finally do one, and whilst I'm getting ready I thought I would answer some of my most commonly asked questions. Obviously I have a very strange mix of jobs and lifestyle, so I definitely get some interesting questions, but I thought if we put them all in one video, you guys have sent me plenty on TikTok, Instagram, I get asked these just in general, so I put together a whole list and we'll see how many we can get through. Okay, first and foremost I'm going in with my Maybelline Grippy Primer. Grippy serum. Either way, I really like this one. It gets nice and tacky, and especially with my jobs, you need your makeup to be able to lock in and stick. Whilst I am putting this on, I'm going to ask one of my biggest questions, which is, how did you become a dance teacher? So my journey to becoming a dance teacher was very organic. I teach at the studio that I grew up with, and when I was, I think 15, I was asked if I would like to be a class assistant and a Saturday girl, we call them, and that just kind of required things like our youngest classes, where sometimes you just need an extra body around. I would be helping them out, looking after parents, and so it kind of started there. I'll carry on answering the question, but I am next going in with the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. I am in shade 0.5, Fair. So it kind of carried on like this for a while until I was about 17. And when I was 17, I was able to start taking on just small bits and pieces of my own classes. It wasn't a lot, it was definitely with smaller groups, and my boss and teachers would come in and help me whenever I needed. But I did start taking on my own stuff. It was kind of at that point I was studying for my A-levels, and I was doing academic A-levels, which I'll get onto later. I kind of made the decision that for the time being, once I finished my A-levels, I was kind of done with academics and I wanted to teach. Anyway, so fast forward a bit, I'm still 17 and COVID hits. I had my 18th birthday in summer lockdown of 2020. It was very strange, but I was able to then reach out to my teacher, my boss, who basically said, do you want to carry on teaching? Like, what's the plan? And I said I would love to keep teaching, and from there it just grew and grew, and that's basically where we are today. Next, going in with the Sculpted Touch Creamy Stick Contour by Kiko Milano. I'm in shade 200 for this one. And a lot of people ask me, what is actually the hardest bit about being a dance teacher? This is such a big conversation, and I do want to preface that I love my job. I wouldn't change the experiences that I've had for the world. But there are times where it's difficult. It can be hard, and you just have to be prepared for that. I think one of the hardest bits I found was just the fact that I had a very different day-to-day lifestyle to pretty much anyone else. My friends, especially from school, they were going to university and then they're working daytime jobs, whereas my job is predominantly in the evening. And so it was very hard to have anyone to really relate to. It could feel, and still does sometimes, it can feel very lonely. I've definitely worked on that, and I have made some amazing friends, not just through teaching, but through Speedway, social media, all different things. So it's not as much of a problem now. Next, going in with the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in shade Light 2 Vanilla. And of course, there is the other side of my life, which is a bit more recent in that I am also a Speedway pits reporter. I've explained this a lot more in previous videos, so if you're not quite sure what that entails, do go and check out prior videos to this. But how I became a pits reporter is a bit of a random story. So I started my job as pits reporter or roving reporter last May? I think it was May. It was either May or June. I can't quite remember the first date. But it was very organic. My dad has been one of the 2 hosts of a podcast which used to be called Pirate Cast for many, many years. Like over 10 years now. And he used to do it with my godfather. My godfather, just due to other things, had to step back, and I got asked if I would want to step in, which I was more than happy to do. I've always loved the sport. I've grown up around the sport, so I was more than happy to kind of step in and start doing that. Also now just going in with the Merit Flush Balm. Yeah, in the shade Cheeky. So we recorded the first couple of episodes of that, and the first few went live, and I was so lucky and grateful. I had a really good response. And basically one of the promoters, which is kind of like the big team boss, he saw it, he watched what I was doing, and there was a gap. They didn't have a pits reporter at the time, especially for on stream when there's breaks going on. It can be a little bit boring if there's nothing sort of to talk about and there's not active racing. So he did reach out and said, you know, would you be interested in this? Was this something you would consider doing? And I immediately jumped on the opportunity, and it's just grown from there. It's been absolutely amazing. I could not be more grateful for the opportunity, and I truly do hope it just grows and grows and grows. Okay, next I'm going in with the Makeup Revolution Translucent Baking Powder. I've only just started using this recently, and this is a mini, so it's a little bit more difficult, but we vibe. And my next question, and this is a huge one, is how do you balance everything without burning out? And quite honestly, if I'm being so for real with you, I kind of don't. I am someone who does struggle with burnout from time to time, but I think I've definitely been getting better more recently in just knowing my limits, knowing when to say no to more, and knowing how to prioritize. Overall, if we're being completely honest, is anyone overly going to miss me if I don't post a TikTok for a day? Probably not. People probably won't even notice that I haven't. Whereas, is it going to be noticeable if I haven't done my research and my pre-planning for a Speedway live stream? Yes, because that's a hell of a lot harder to kind of do what you need to do. So a lot of things are about prioritizing. I also think I do have a really great support network. One of the biggest pieces of advice I will always give someone is do not bottle up any emotion that you're feeling, because I've done that. I spent a lot of my life doing that to a certain extent, and it's not healthy, it doesn't help, and eventually you just are going to boil and boil and boil and boil until you explode. So it's definitely not worth it. Next question, and this is a big one, is are you single? And there's a very simple answer, yes. I'm going in with the Benefit, is it focusing? Benefit Goof Proof Brow Pencil in shade 2. So yes, I am single. I'm not actively dating right now. If the right thing were to come, then that would be amazing, and I would definitely obviously explore that, but I do think my life is a very weird one to fit a partner into right now, and I'm definitely more focused on me and bettering myself overall. So yeah, it's not my biggest priority. I'm gonna finish my eyebrows off camera really quick. Okay, eyebrows are now done. I'm next going in with lashes. I curl my lashes first. This is literally just an eyelash curler from Primark. And then I use the Ilia mascara. If I am going to Speedway, I will do this slightly differently. My eyes are so bad for watering, especially when it's windy or it's cold. So I use the Maybelline Lash Sensational Sky High mascara, but the waterproof one. But I'm not going to Speedway today, so I don't need to do that. My next question that I get quite a lot is, how are you so confident? The answer is, I'm not. Fake it till you make it. That is genuinely how I have lived most of my life and have had most success in my life overall. So yeah, fake it till you make it is a very big one for me. I'm not actually a confident person by any means. I definitely struggle. I am one of the people who, I have insane social anxiety, and I also am the sort of person who is convinced that everyone actually secretly hates me behind my back. Not true, of course, but I still believe it. But I don't actually, but like I do. It's very hard to explain, but yeah, a lot of my confidence is, to be honest, faked confidence. But if it works, it works. And faking confidence does actually make you more confident overall. So it's definitely something I'm working on, and I want to grow as I grow up. I'm going to get my mascara on the other eye now. Okay, next I'm going in with the Benefit Hoola Bronzer. I'm actually running really low on this, but it's a cult classic. I love it. Can't help it. And my next question is, what is something that people misinterpret about my life? And to be honest, I think I don't deal with it a lot, but I think people think that my life just in general is, I guess, a bit more glamorous than it actually is, and my life, not glamorous. When you're teaching in a studio 24/7, you are sweaty and gross, and you're dealing with sweaty kids and teenagers, and you're, like, literally yesterday I was cleaning blood off the floor. Still don't know where that came from, which is slightly worrying, but here we are. And then the Speedway world, I mean, I'm covered in shale and dirt, and I come home and I'm pretty disgusting. And then just my general life, I live just a really average life. And I think people think as soon as, you know, you're getting products and things like that, they expect the influencer life of, like, the big house and all the money and things like that. And I don't have that. I'm a very average person, really. Next, going in with the Rare Beauty Powder Blush in the shade Happy. And this next one is, what is your biggest glow up tip? And I don't know. Over the last couple of years, I've done a lot to glow myself up a bit more. I honestly think one of the biggest things is just taking care of myself a bit more and looking after myself. Just in general, whether it's the food I put into my body, going to the gym, focusing on my sleep more, I'm journaling more, I focus on skincare more. One of my favourite things is the UK Lash Serum. My eyelashes are so different, and I tell you what, maybe they shouldn't be, but eyelashes are like the key to my confidence. Long eyelashes, oh, makes my day. Okay, very quickly, to clean off my lips before I put lip gloss on, I use some leftover micellar water from when I do my skincare. So it's already on my face pad, and I just use it to clean off my lips rather than like having gunky powder. And my very last question that I'm going to answer today is, what is the coolest opportunity that you have had so far in your life? And I have been so lucky, I've had so many. I thought I'd do one for each career. So within my influencing career, I think it's just working with brands. One of my biggest ones, Pepper Mayo, being able to work with them, and it's an ongoing collaboration. That's crazy to me. Also, by the way, I'm using the Summer Fridays. Go away, Siri. I'm using the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm in Marshmallow. As a dance teacher, I think my biggest opportunity is coming up, taking my kids to Disneyland Paris to be able to perform there and doing all the choreography for that. And Speedway, I think all of it, honestly. Having the recognition that I've had. There's video footage of me just discussing Speedway with Harry Redknapp. How is that my life? And then on the same night, I did the flags for the race. It was brilliant. So I've had a lot of opportunities there, which is amazing. And I hope for more and more and more as the seasons go on. I'm finally using, this is a bit worn out, but the Sculpted by Amy Hydrate and Hold setting spray. I feel like Sculpted by Amy is such an underrated brand. Anyway, that is my makeup done for the day. If you want me to do this again and you have questions that you want to ask, drop them down below. I've had so much fun answering some of these questions. I love you all so much, and speak soon. Mwah!